So now let's see some of the overhauling theory, because we'll make a practical video of how to do overhauling, but let's see how do we read from the manual and what all precautions we are supposed to take for overhauling of the main air compressor. Overhauling of the valves. So this has to be done as per the maker's recommendation, maybe every 1000 hour or every 2000 hour. So what do? Remove the first stage valve and then remove the second stage suction and the delivery valve. First stage is normally a bigger valve, it's a combined valve most of the times. Otherwise, and then second stage is suction and delivery valves, right? So he is here from the cylinder head, he is removing the first stage valve, then he is removing the second stage suction as well as the discharge valve.
To every marine engineer out there, from junior engineer to chief engineer and electrical officer, we all know that earning respectonship is very important. We all know fast promotions are very important, and we all know that इज्जत कमानी है, promotion चाहिए तो काम आना चाहिए, तो जूते पड़ते हैं, गालियां पड़ती हैं, and for that you need a good mentor. Sometimes we keep finding those mentors on board ship, अगर नहीं मिल रहे तो MNDFLIX है ना, Merchant Navy Decoded has launched a subscription model where you can find more than 30 plus courses with respect to your rank, helping you earn respectonship. Please enroll on these free trial videos, watch these videos as per rank, and then decide whether you want to invest or not, with a very good flexible payment plan as well. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat, Jai Mata.
Now what? Wipe out the air valve outside, both first and second stage valve, with a clean cloth. So we need to clean it with a nice cloth, and check deposit of the carbon. So first we need to check how much is the carbon deposit and all for the foreign matter. If carbon deposits, if carbon or foreign matters is stuck, disassemble, then we need to disassemble. But if we do not find any of the carbon deposit, we find that the valve is clean and all, so then we need to do the leak test of the valve. We don't need to overhaul it. But if we find some carbon deposits and all, then better you overhaul, clean the carbon deposit. Maybe we can use some good diesel and all, or kerosene to clean that one, and then after that assemble back, check for the spring functioning and all, and then we can do the leak test again, right? So if the carbon or foreign matter is stuck, disassemble the valve and carefully clean it with the soft cloth or brush. We are not supposed to use any hard metal wire or something, because that will damage the valve. Check for the sticking of the carbon and foreign matter on the valve body, right? Next is your valve plate. So now what do we do without disassembly? Yeah, see, he has taken a screwdriver and he is trying to push the valve plate, and the valve plate is being pushed against the spring. So it will compress in and then it should come back. Once you release the pressure, it should come back. So if it is happening that way, so that means your spring is in good condition. Also we put water, we can use some diesel or something like that, or even lube oil we can put, and check if we find some drops falling from the other side. If we find any drops of liquids coming out from the other side, that means this valve is not completely sealing, and this valve requires sealing, or even may require change of certain parts like spring or even the valve plate, right? So what does it say? Push the valve plate as he is doing from the valve seat side using a driver or a steel bar. 3 mm is the diameter. So we can see this is not standard, but yes. And check abnormality of the valve plate face and action of the spring. So by compressing this one, we are actually checking the action of the spring. The functioning of the valve plate can be checked by putting some liquid, testing liquid here, and then check, right? So we have to check that in several places. Maybe the spring is intact here, but maybe it is broken here, so we need to check them. Also check for the wear down of the spring inside. So how do we check that one? For that we need to overhaul and check. So here he is doing the valve leak test. So he has taken some liquid in this nozzle and he is putting all across the valve, and then he will check from the other side that the valve is actually stuck onto the seat or not. Next check or overhauling is your cylinder and jacket. So in the cylinder, what you do, once you have removed the cylinder head and piston, everything has been taken out carefully, and check for the wear of the cylinder, right? So we will check in this particular space that the your cylinder liner, basically liner, is intact or not. When the quality of oil is insufficient, please replace the lubricator. That means if we see any scoring marks developing and all, that means your lubricator is not putting in enough oil that is required for the lubrication. So we need to overhaul the lubricator, or maybe even change the lubricator. Next is your water jacket. So water jacket, how do we do that? We clean with the kind of a wire brush. So we have a space there, we clean inside, because this is the water flow, and outside in the your air, intercooler and aftercooler, the air is moving inside the tubes and water is outside. So we have lot of sedimentation, especially in these particular areas, the water and all mud kind of a thing. So we need to clean that one, so that our cooling efficiency is efficient, right? Next is your overhauling of the cooler. So as we said, he has removed the cooler and the air is actually circulating from one side to the other. Air is inside these tubes, right? So air is inside this tube and water is outside the tube. So we have already, once we remove this cooler outside, so once we remove the cooler, we will see that space and we need to clean that also. So remove the cooler cover on both first and the second stage. Clean the tube stack with the brush. So as he is cleaning with the brush, we need to clean all the mud, and then maybe we can use the compressed air to clean that one, right? So that is how we are. And also we are supposed to do the leak test of the cooler. How do we do that? We need to follow the tubes and inlet and outlet side. So outlet you need to block with something, and on the inlet you need to give the compressed air, and maybe same like a person who is making the puncture of the bicycle or the motorcycle. So same way we need to put in some water, and then you will see from where the bubble is coming. So you need to identify which of the tube is leaking. So if any of the tube is leaking, then we need to plug both in and out of the tubes. And now he is lifting, he is going to lift the piston. So overhauling of the piston. But before removing the piston, of course we have removed the bottom side, all the connection. Before taking out the piston, remove the connecting rod bolts and also take out the bottom end bearing, right? So he is already removing this, and he will remove the bottom half of the bearing, and then you can lift up by using this lifting eye bolt, and then you can lift clear the piston. Now purpose of the piston ring. So how, once we have removed the piston, so it comes out with the piston rings and all, and this is two-stage compression, one stage and second stage. So we will see what is the role of the piston ring. We already know it is to seal the air and to prevent the from the losses of excess pressure. There are 3 piston rings on the first stage and 3 piston ring on the second stage. So if you see 1, 2 and 3, so 3 piston ring. Similarly here 1, 2, 3, and similarly at the bottom 1, 2, 3. Arrange the cut ends at interval. Now this one is once we have removed this piston ring, the old, we will discard the old piston rings, right? And after that we will clean the piston ring grooves. We will take the measurement as per the manual. If the manual says that the measurement is within limit, then we can just simply renew the piston ring. If the grooves are worn out, or let's say they have developed more groove or widened out and all, so the piston ring will start floating in the groove. So it will lead to breaking of the piston ring, and efficiency of the compressor is reduced, same like our main engine piston, or let's say even the generator piston. So what we can do in that case is we need to replace the piston itself, right? So that is how. And when we are putting in the piston rings, of course, as we do on the main engine, you might have seen, if similarly here the cut needs to be at least 120 degree away from each other, so that they are not in line and does not result into the kind of blow past situation, right? Now, yeah. So overhauling the oil scraper ring. So now what is the purpose of the oil scraper ring? As we said, to scrape off the excess oil back into the crankcase. Why? Because of the splashing and all, the oil may carry over into the compression stage side. So we do not want that. So we have a scraper ring, right? One of the reason, if your valves are dirty, that means the oil is being carried over, and because of the heating, because there is so much heat when the compression is taking place, so that oil is getting burned there, and that's why we have the carbon deposits, right? Oil scraper ring could be faulty in that case. Then when setting the scraper ring into the piston ring grooves, put the R mark. So there is a marking on this oil scraper ring side of each ring upside, and arrange the cut end at interval of 180 degree. Yeah, like this one. So we have these on the rings, oil scraper rings. So we need to put that are on the top. Normally the punch marking is on the top, and we arrange them at 180 degree difference, right? So we have two, so one cut will be this side, other cut will be that side. So that is how we put the oil scraper ring. Next is your oil replacement. That means time between the interval when you will replace the oil. Now, so this again will depend upon maker to maker. For this particular maker, what did it say? Initial start is fresh oil, of course. After 50 hours of running, so these are all hours, right? So after 50 hours of running, it's asking you to refill. Refill means you drain partial and you top up partial. Then after 100 hours, you drain again partial, you top up. Then 200 hours. Right, so you do like this one, then 1000 hour one, then 1100 it is asking to refill the oil. So similarly like that one, or we need to follow the monthly. So even if the compressor is not running, we need to follow after 1 month or 2 month or 3 month or 6 month, what we have to do, refill oil, replace the oil filter at 2000 hour, right? So this is it. Now what does it say? You have to use ISO VG100. Again, this will depend upon the maker, which oil does, or even the lube oil chart, that which chart you are following, whether you are following Lukoil or you are following BP or you are following Shell and all. But the grade is SAE number 30 oil as a lubricant for the compressor. Drain the whole of the oil while the compressor is kept warm at the interval of 50 and 100 hours after the initial start of the compression, and wash the oil screen with the clean flushing oil. So oil screen means the oil, there is one filter kind of a thing inside the crankcase from where the pump is taking suction. So we need to clean that one. Now followed by filling the compressor with the fresh oil. However, when using synthetic oil, so synthetic oil, it has a larger life. Use of the mineral oil in the initial operation of 300 hours, thereafter replace the oil in interval of 1000 hours. So this is, they have given the time interval. Next, replace the oil filter at intervals of 2000 hours. So as was said here you need to change even the filter. Never fail to conduct daily inspection and service. What is the daily inspection? You should check the oil level, you should check the oil quantity from the dipstick and all, if it is good or not, all those things, right? Condensate, drain and all. It is fundamental to rule to clean the compressor thoroughly and fill it with the fresh oil. So whenever you are renewing the oil, so after you have drained the previous oil, you need to clean the crankcase, right? And then only you fill up the fresh oil. Now, since we have overhauled the piston and all, so this is the time that we can do the crankcase inspection for bearings, the bolts, right? So all those things, even the liner and all. Now this is your oil screen, right? So this is what they wanted to do. Now so this is a drawing of your, this is your crankshaft, right? So this is your crank pin, this is your crank pin bearing in two parts, and then this one is your con rod. So normally we have one spare con rod on board available. So if you find any cracks or something, you need to replace that one. Now this crank rod or connecting rod is attached to the piston through this gudgeon pin arrangement, right? So this particular pin is connecting on two ends, it is connecting onto the piston, and in the center the connecting rod is, and the bearing here is your gudgeon pin bearing, right? And then of course this is the piston, this is the crown, we have the piston rings, this is the skirt, so this is similar arrangement, right? Then this particular hole here on the bearing is for the lube oil flow. So oil will come here and will remain inside this what do you call, slide into this particular place. Similarly on the top side of the bearing. So this bearing, whenever we are changing, has to be changed in the pair. It's not that you changed only the lower half and top half you did not. So it's not like that. Whenever we are changing, we are supposed to change the both the side of the bearing. Also on this connecting rod bolts, what we are, so here, yeah, this is your connecting rod bolt. So what we are supposed to check? We are supposed to check if there are any cracks developing on the connecting rod bolts, or any damage you can see on the straighter part, not just on the thread but on the non-threaded part also, and the we also check on the hexagonal side that it should not be that we cannot open it or we cannot tighten it fully. So we need to check the head also. Yeah. Now lubricator adjustment. So this is your lubricator here, right? So lubricator adjustment we can do, we have an adjustment screw there if you want to increase the lubrication. Suppose during once you remove the piston and you saw that liner needs more of the lubrications, and then we need to increase the lubricator, so we can adjust it, but it's not able to see in this diagram right now. We'll once we make the practical video, we'll show how to do that one. So make sure you check that the discharge side of the lubricator, right, drop by drop oil has to keep coming whenever the pump is running. At least 1 drop or 2 drop oil should keep on continuing. If you do not find the oil, then first we need to check if that passage is choked or not. If that passage is clear with the compressed air and all, then that means the problem with the lubricator. Then we need to increase the feed rate, either it is too less or even the lubricator is a problem. And it also says that every 8,000 hours of the compressor running, you should change the lubricator. Now maintenance schedule for the Tanabe air compressor, again it depends upon the maker to maker at what interval they want to change what. So as per the Tanabe, what does it say? Valve as a whole you disassemble and cleaning every 3000 hours, right? Then valve plate they say 3000 hour. Again what to do? Check wear amount or replace. So wear amount means we'll probably measure the thickness of the valve plate and all. Spring, check for extent of the fatigue. So we will know how much the spring compressibility and all things are there. So that has to be done at 3000 hour interval. Inside the liner, check extent of the wear. That means liner you will check for any marking and all if there is there. So that has to be done again at 3000. Then jacket water, that means they are asking you to clean, remove the coolers and clean that jacket space and all, right? So that is also 3000 hour. Cooler plates, once we have removed the cooler, we can clean that one, again 3000 hour. Now on the piston, what does it say? Piston outside, that means from the outside of the piston, check the outside diameter, because due to so many frequent running hours and all, the piston may also be worn out. So we will check the outer diameter and extent of the ring wear in the ring groove where the rings are sitting. So we will check the depth of the wearing and the thickness of the wearing and all those things, right? So that has to be done every 6000 hourly, right? Then oil scraper ring, they are asking to check extent of wear or if required replace. Again that is also a 6000 hour. Piston ring again 6000 hour. Crankcase oil replacement, as we said already, 1000 hour. Oil screen we have to clean every 1000 hour, right? Check. Then oil pump, it says every 8000 hour to be renewed probably, right? To you check the performance of the pump and then you can change. Piping and all, check for leaks. This has to be done kind of every 250 hours or like that. Then pressure switch functioning, it is here they are saying 1000 hour, but better we check every if not weekly then at least once in a month, right? So this is what. Then any safety valve, pressure gauges and all, so this we can do kind of everyday thing. Suction filter has to be replaced 3000 hourly, that's what they are saying here, right? Magnetic valve functioning check 2000 hour or 1000 hour, yeah, this one is 1000 hour. So this is, so various routines has been decided that you will do this, you will do this. So this is your plant maintenance system, this is your PMS, right? Plant maintenance system. Anchor bolt, anti-vibration rubber, again you check every certain number of hours. Yeah, here safety valve, check for the functioning once every year, but this is better that at least once in your contract you check this one. How do you check? You just close the discharge valve and run the compressor and see if it is operating or not, right? We can remove the safety valve and test it on the bench also, but you can do it otherwise also. Pressure gauge, of course you need calibration every year, like that one. Then compressor as a whole overhauling once in 3 years or 9000 hour, whatever it is there. Gasket and o-ring every time you are doing. So you are not supposed to reuse the gaskets or o-ring because this is a high pressure equipment. Now this is a list of the your clearance table just for our understanding, like piston OD how much would be. So basic is 140, right? How much standard deviation, it could be this much, but if it is around 0.5 mm, right, the dimension is in earlier it was 140, now it has become 139.5 or maybe 139.4, then you need to discard this particular piston, right. Piston pin OD, again when we remove the piston pin we check this one, so similar values has been given. Then piston pin OD and piston pin hole dia, how much is the clearance between this, right. Crank pin OD and connecting rod metal ID, of course the top end, right. So how much is the difference? So if it is more than 0.15 mm, so that means you need to discard. Then connecting rod side clearance, right, so that is also there. Then crankshaft axial clearance, so normally we are not checking, but we are supposed to check that one also. So if any of these dimensions are over specs, right, so that means you need to replace them, right. Main bearing ID, wherever the main bearing is sitting, so and crank pin journal ID and all OD, so that difference. Then piston ring width and groove, so this is for the old piston ring, so when you remove you measure the piston ring dia and all this thing, thickness, radial and axial, so that is there what you. Then on the grooves, not just on the piston ring but also for the groove, for the first stage and second stage they have given a limit. Then oil ring width and the ring groove, so width means oil ring, the old oil ring, and the groove thickness, groove depth you will measure. If it is more than 0.15, of course you are discarding that one. Then piston ring step joint clearance, so all those things are there, oil step ring, then top clearance, oil pump gear side clearance, so we can check, and if it is at the replacement level then we need to replace. If it is in this range then it is acceptable, this could be still used for further a number of hours.